In this tutorial, we're going to walk through the Customer Importer tool in the OES. So let's go to Tools and Customer Importer. And what we're going to find here is a step-by-step wizard that walks you through the process of importing your contacts list from a file into your OneSystem account. So in order to start this process, you need to export your contacts from your current database. Or you may have paper records that you need to get into an electronic format before you can upload them. Now, if you have the database already, such as Outlook or Act or Goldmine or any other CRM, typically they all give you the ability to export your contact list either to Excel format or to a CSV format, which is comma separated value text file. So once you get your contacts into the correct format, you can import them. So what I'm going to do today is I'm actually going to import an Excel file. So let me show you what that file is going to look like. So this is an example of what, if you're using Excel, this is an example of what your Excel file should look like. Now, you may not have all the same columns of data. You may just have first and last name, and that's fine. But I have a file that has a whole bunch of different columns, so I can show you the flexibility and capability of the importer. So as you can see here, I've got my column names in the first row, which is very important. Now, I have 3 contacts that I'm going to import here. They have various different information. We have some full state names, from abbreviated state names, 5-digit zip codes, and more than 5 digits, a bad phone number, which is I'm going to do that on purpose, and just various other information that we're going to import into the system. So over here you can see I have notes, I have other notes, I also have policy information. You have the ability to import one policy per customer that you're importing. So if you have the type and the carrier, things like the status, the plan, the class, policy number, face amount, you can import these details into the OES customer policies area. So that is the basic information that I have in my file here. So let's start off by uploading our file. Now, one thing to keep in mind, we do not import Excel 2007 formats. So if you have an Excel 2007 file, you can simply do a file save as and save it as a 2003 format. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to choose the type of file that we're going to import. So I'm going to choose Excel, and then we're going to browse for the file. I have mine right here, and I'm going to click Next. And the first step here is to map your data fields to our data fields. So on the left here you see these are the fields that we have on customer records, and here on the right side is where we're going to retrieve that data from your file. So if I open up one of these things, these are all the columns of data from that first row in the Excel file that are coming in. So we try to auto set some of these for you based upon common names. Let's see, I don't know if we had a middle name or not. No middle name. So we have last name, we have nickname, contact company, occupation, email. Don't have email in there. Most of these are mapping for us automatically. If you know that you have one of these items in here, but it's not auto-selected, you just simply search through the list and you would select it, and it would map that data to that column. Now, as we go down the screen here, there's also options to import other data. So now you may have a column of data that doesn't map to a specific field that we have. So maybe, for example, health class, you have a health class field and you want to import that data. You can import the health class, and that's just going to import it into a comments field on the customer screen as health class : and then the value that's in the Excel file that you're importing. Now, if we go down even further, we can choose to import the policy information. Now, if you don't have policy information, this section, you don't even have to worry about it. If you do have policy information, one of the keys here is you must have a policy type column in your Excel file. So that would be something that says like term or whole or annuity, something like that. So we have our policy type is auto-selected for us, the status, the carrier. I believe that we had a policy plan. There we go. So that was one that was not linked for us. and most of these other ones auto-populated based upon common names. And finally, we have additional policy notes. So if you have other fields of data with policy information that you want mapped into the policy comments, again, you can do that. This will be mapped into the policy that's created from that import. Once you got all of your mappings completed, you click Next, and what the system does is shows you a very brief preview of the data to make sure you've kind of got most of your major columns lined up correctly. So first name looks good, last name looks good, nickname, phone numbers. So these things are ready to import. So we click on Next, and the next step is to map some of the statuses that you have in your file over to our statuses. Now, if you're not importing statuses, this section is going to be skipped. So for example, in our file we had a status column that in our system we had new lead, client, and bad lead. That came from the Excel file. So for new lead, we're going to map it to the new lead status in our OES account. For client, we're going to map it to client. For bad lead, we need to map it to one of our OES statuses. So we're going to choose dead file for that one. Same goes for policy type. We need to match the ones in your file to the types of policies we have. Carriers to carriers, policy statuses to policy statuses, and premium modes to premium modes, and health classes to health classes. So if you don't have any of these items you're importing, you're not going to see this screen. It will only show you the ones that you've mapped and that you need to import properly. On the next screen is the cleaner. So what we find here is on this lead, the first lead, the data is invalid on the face amount. We have letters where we only accept numbers. So if you know the face amount, if you can correct it, you can type it in. Otherwise, you can delete it, and you can click Update and go to Next. Sometimes you might find that all the information is blank. It picked up a blank row in the Excel file. In that case, you can simply click Skip, Do Not Import, which will skip over that import row, and it will not import it into the system. So we click Update Next to move forward, and on this one, we have a bad date. So let's delete that out, and we'll click Update Next. And so here's a blank row. We're going to go ahead and skip that one, and it says now that we're done. Note that if you go backwards at this point in time, you have to re-clean your import, which can be time consuming if you have a whole lot of records that you're cleaning. So click Next. Now this is the very last step before you perform the import. At this point, we give you the ability to set the status of all the leads that you're going to import, and also to tag them. Now, the tagging is a very nice feature, especially if you're importing special sets of customers and you want to keep them separate from each other. What you can do is you can go create tags ahead of time, okay, and then you can tag this set of imports with one of your tags, or more of tags, both tags if you want, doesn't matter. And then finally, you can type a note, imported from Outlook contact list, and that would be put onto the notes of the customer. You click Next, and it says, congratulations, you've imported 3 leads into your system, and you are done.